G'day, it's Joel Rasmussen from Southern Cross Combat, and I'm here backstage at Demolition Fight Series 16 talking to Mr. Jonathan Micallef. In a era and in a year of new Australian UFC fighters, you are the newest. How does it feel to hear that?
Feels cool, man. It's all settled in now. I've had that conversation so many times, but yeah, it's taken me a little bit to get used to, But now this is the reality that I'm living in, and can't wait to make my debut.
Of course, the thing that stood out to me the most from the performance, aside from how good it was the comment, slick as shit by Dana White. Of course, you can hear people tell you, you're now a UFC fighter, and as you said, you've had the conversation. But when the boss man himself has such high praise for your performance, what was that like?
Dude, it was pretty cool because that comment came off of me saying to him, Dana, I'm sorry. I know you like KOs, but, I can do that too. And he's like, nah, man, that was slick as shit. And I was like, fuck yeah, this might be my new fight name, Slick. I reckon that could be it, It was awesome, man. It was a really cool sort of pinch yourself kind of moment.
I was going to be my next question. If we could incorporate that into either the nickname Slick or maybe we get a T-shirt, Jonathan Micallef Slick as shit quote under it. Has there been drafts? Are we going to try to incorporate that?
Yeah, I'm still waiting the first draft to come to me, but I'm definitely gonna jump on that, man. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna make happen.
And now we are talking about yourself. However, we are at Demolition Fight Series. You are with the team. As always, as I've spoken to you about nearly every time I've talked to you, being a captain. You know what I mean? You're leading some boys into battle, you and Mr. Sammy Hayward. Your brother made his debut tonight. How was that?
He did fantastic, man. I don't think I've been as nervous as I have tonight for my brother's fight, over all of my fights. Yeah, it was actually really tough for me, just sort of control the emotions is something I've never had to do before, just because, your little brother, I've got that big brother mentality, you're trying to look after him, but there's nothing you can do besides help him out in the training room, which was really cool. But it was this today, I don't know why, maybe because it's the first time I've been here since making the UFC. It's been a real full circle moment for me. There's some guys who are here today who I made my debut with some 5 years ago, and now to come full circle to it, come back and be at the place that it all began, it's really cool for me. It's awesome, and now I'm moving onwards and upwards and looking to my future and where the real work begins now, so I'm really excited.
I grabbed some words with your brother after his fight. I asked him this question, so now I'll ask the same to you. Winning the Contender Series is a huge moment. It marks that next step. In one way, it marks the ending of one journey, but in another way, it marks the starting of another. But watching a relative of yours make their debut, the first time ever they're going to step into a cage, how do they compare, winning Contender versus watching your brother win?
It was phenomenal watching him win. Probably because it was a decision, it wasn't so much. If he was to get a stoppage, I'd say that would eclipse it all. But I think the Contender Series it's very special. It's very special for me. But also, I think being the big brother, I'm sort of the entry of MMA for my whole family. I'm sort of like, I really hope he does good, because if not, it's my fault. It's on me, bro. So, yeah, fantastic. So happy. He did incredibly well against a good, tough opponent. Yeah, I couldn't be happier right now, man.
I asked him this question as well, but as you said there, you represent the entry to MMA into your family, Your brother talked about how the parents kind of view it. You have a big family. Are any more Micallefs coming down the line? Is there anyone else who's going to jump into the cage that you've got waiting in the wings?
Maybe. There are a few that are still younger than the age that I started the sport in, so they could potentially happen, but I think that's it, Maybe a few others who will come and jump in as a hobbyist, a bit of fun, but I don't think there are going to be any more fighters. But, I won't be surprised if there are, Even later on in life and just want to get that one fight in, they see me and Timmy and doing so well and enjoying it and how much we get out of it as a person and how much we're growing. I wouldn't be surprised if it is to happen.
Now, of course, question I have to ask. You're a man who is awaiting the UFC debut. Is there a date you want? Is there anything you're targeting?
I think February 9th, Sydney. We're definitely aiming for that. I'm gearing all my chips towards that at the moment. If that doesn't happen, I don't mind, man. Anything after that, I'm happy to take. I'm getting ready for that at the moment. Getting the weight down, getting everything in check, and I'm really going to be the best me I've ever been for that.
And we had this conversation before the Contender Series fight where there's so many people in the world, you can't keep track of everyone, you know what I mean? It's just impossible. But now that you are in the UFC, is there anyone you would want to make that debut against? Is there a name you have in mind?
There are no names specifically in mind. There was actually a guy who fought on the last UFC card against Neil Magny when he fought Pratis. And it was some young kid. I think he was 7-0 at the time, and he lost the fight. But he's now 7-1, and we both have the same record. So I think that would be an awesome entry-level fight for me. Yeah, and get the KO bonus, get some extra checks, and then after that, you know, after I've fought out my first contract, then I'll start looking to go up the rankings. But I think first you need to make a bit of money first.
And I know at the top of the interview I talked about, you know, you are now a UFC fighter. But for people who are, for the gentlemen who are sitting over to our right, your teammates who are still coming up the amateur, for the pros who are fighting later tonight, who are making their debut or early on in their career, what's it like when you get that UFC contract? Do you see extra colors now? Has the world been completely changed the moment you sign that contract?
Honestly, man, not at all. You know, like you get paid more, and now I think more than the pay that you get more is the spotlight, the people that notice, and the ripples that affect other people's lives, which I've noticed a lot. You know, that's the big thing. You know, how people look at you. But outside of that, man, I'm going and fighting. You know, regardless of how many people are watching, and I felt this in the Contender Series fight where it's the same fucking thing. You know, I'm doing this every Friday night, sparring hard. Getting the gloves on and going having a crack. That's what we're doing, you know. So regardless of how many cameras and bright lights are on you, that's what it's all about. It's about going in and beating the man that's in front of you. He's the obstacle, not the cameras.
And finally, for me, I thank you for the time talking about that and talking about kind of how the journey is going. We talked about it. I saw you back on the tools. Are you a man who just can't sit down? Were you like, I have to go out there and work. I have to do it?
Yeah, mate. Unfortunately, a contract doesn't mean I'm automatically a multimillionaire. So I do still have to make ends meet, mate. Unfortunately. But I do think it's good. I'm a hard-working guy. So for me to get out there, get in the tools, and fucking keep the body moving, no problems.
Jonathan Micallef, I thank you very much for the time. I look forward to seeing you make your debut. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.